Catch a break at the
McLaren, who's
moment, and
currently
rumors
in the
are
fourth
swirling
place
that
in the
McLaren is
Constructors'
considering its
Championship
options.
with 59 points, whose drivers are in the 7th place and 11th in Drivers' Championship, respectively for Lando, Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, just behind the three Formula 1
The
best
season
teams,
behind
Red
the
Bull,
8 ball.
Ferrari and Mercedes. The team is obviously working hard to be able to compete in the front range of the game like the old days. McLaren's most recent wins in Formula 1 were during its collaboration with Mercedes from 1995 to 2014, winning the Drivers' Championship with Mika Hakkinen in 1998 and Lewis Hamilton in 2008, so a new partnership with Mercedes in 2021 since 2014 was a very important step for the team. Is the team having some changes in their car before the 2022 Azerbaijan Grand Prix? Will these upgrades be efficient for the team's driver on track to step up from the midfield to the first range? Guys, we're happy to announce that our Formula Zone family is amazingly growing up. As Formula 1 fans, we would be happy to offer you a beautiful poster of your favorite Formula 1 driver. Conditions are too easy. Subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment telling us from which country you follow our videos. Share this with your Formula 1 fans around you. Good luck for all of you. Guys, check our last videos in case you missed them. A lot of fresh news inside. Invite your friends and Formula 1 fans around you. So the last car upgrades the team did on their MC36 was actually in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix last month. The car has clearly improved in terms of competitiveness according to the team principal Andrea Ciro. We made a good step forward in Barcelona and addressed certain weaknesses the car had, but at the same time a lot of other cars did as well. In terms of upgrades, I think pretty much we go with a package now for these next races, which we have in place. There is always some fine-tuning or some minor updates coming in. The car showed a significant problem with its brake ducts in the second pre-season test. Team had to use an interim fix for the opening round, thing that affected the team's performance, which looked in a very bad and unexpected shape in the start of the season. All this justified the extensive package of updates the team brought to their car before the Spanish Grand Prix. However, all the teams are moving this weekend to experience a real transaction from one of the slowest track in the championship to one of the fastest on the calendar. Andrea Seidel, the Mclaren Boss, said he has no idea about how competitive their car will actually be in Baku, especially that the competitive order in the midfield has been so changing these last races. Seidel stated that he can see some significant signs of progress with his team's performance since the last update, but he prefers to worry of making any kind of prediction about their competitiveness in the upcoming races, especially Baku, which is considered as one of the fastest track. Baku, obviously, and Montreal are kind of different tracks again, so it's really difficult to predict, because we've seen big swings in terms of pecking order so far this year, and therefore I'm very cautious with making too many predictions. It's still early with these new cars. We have seen how quick it can swing from one race to the next one, from one track to the next one. Everyone has updated the cars now, or most of the teams have updated their cars for Barcelona. This is obviously a very specific track. What that all means now, the upgrades everyone brought for these upcoming tracks. To be honest, it's impossible to predict. Also, we shouldn't forget the competition is so tight where we are in. 1 or 2 tenths up or down means instead of being in possession to fight for P7 or P8, you're suddenly in P13, P14. That's the competition we're in. It's obviously always important that we maximize everything we have in our hands, and hopefully that's enough to give the Alpines, the Alfa Romeo, and some others a hard time in these next races. The Baku City circuit hosted only 5 races, in fact still considered as a new Formula 1 venue, but growing fast. It started in 2016 under the name of the European Grand Prix. 1 year later, it became the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017. Since then, McLaren actually showed a very good performance, taking 6 points finishes. The McLaren's driver from their side are showing a high level of excitement ahead to Baku City. Lando Norris, who's currently in the 7th place with 48 points, finished P8 in his first Formula 1 race at this circuit in 2019, before improving even more last year with a P5, the best teams has finished at that track to this date. The driver said he can't wait to race next weekend in Azerbaijan. I'm excited to be heading to Baku. It's cool to be at another street circuit, and last year's race showed that anything can happen. It will be great to see what we can do in the new cars around this unique circuit. I've had points finish both times. I've raced at this track, so hopefully I can keep that up and get some more points for the team this year. I'm feeling back to my usual self. After the weekend off, I've recovered well after a tough 2 weeks. I'm excited to see what I can do going into the next double header, so let's get stuck in. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo, who won the first Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017 thanks to his known street skills, making that famous 3-car overtake down the straight, declared another time his love for Baku circuit. I'm a big fan of the Baku circuit. It has some exciting features and it's always a fun battle heading into turn 1, where you can often end up with 3 cars running side by side. There is a couple of different ways. We can play it strategy-wise this weekend, but track position for lights on Sunday will be important. Even with the overtaking opportunities the longest straight on the calendar offers, there is always an element of unpredictability at street circuit, so I'm ready to take advantage of any opportunities that come my way. Whistle Monaco wasn't quite what I wanted to be. I'm feeling confident that we keep pushing ahead and making the most out of this weekend. In fact, the driver has been under a huge amount of stress lately and received plenty of criticism because of his performance, but the Australian has confirmed to his critics that he hasn't forgotten how to drive yet. Ricciardo isn't receiving arrows from the outside of the team, but even from the inside. McLaren's chief executive officer, Zak Brown, hinted recently in an interview that the team will possibly cut ties with Ricciardo this summer, despite the fact that the driver's contract won't end until 2023. The Australian recorded a solitary podium finish in 29 race start. He also won the last year's Italian Grand Prix. In an interview with Crash.net, the 33-year-old driver said, "It kind of ebbs and flows where sometimes I got down on myself, but then other times I'm fired up and motivated to prove a lot of people wrong and prove myself right. More times than not, I kind of chuckle at the doubt, because even last year for sure, there were times where I was trying to figure it out, but already in April and May last year, there were articles like he's lost it. 6 months earlier in 2020, I was regarded as one of the standout drivers of that season. The reality is, I've not forgotten how to drive in 6 months and haven't lost my competitive edge. It's just kind of a moment in a time that I knew that I could come out of." Ricciardo has a very wide fan base, and he's considered as one of the Formula One's most adored personalities these last years. So the McLaren team is finally not bringing any big upgrades for backup, hoping that their driver's history and stat in Azerbaijan will maybe help having a good result there. Azerbaijan is in fact called the Land of Fire, so guys, you can expect to see some hot overtakes there. Stick around, invite your friends to participate in our giveaway in order to win a very special favorite driver poster. Don't forget to tell us your opinion in the comment section. Is it a good decision for McLaren to leave it for luck with no updates? Like the video if you have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.